The road to the chase for the cup is getting shorter, hotter, and far more unforgiving. Every race now feels like a test. Every mistake feels bigger, and every point feels heavier than the last. And no one is carrying more momentum into this moment than Denny Hamlin. 2 straight weeks, 2 straight wins. A veteran turning June into his personal highlight reel. First conquering Nashville's concrete, then overpowering Michigan's speed. And now he arrives at a place that fits him better than anywhere else on the map. 3 corners, 3 challenges, 3 completely different worlds stitched into one brutal lap. Turn 1 demands commitment, the tunnel turn demands precision, and turn 3 demands patience. You master one and you survive, master all 3 and you thrive. It's a track that exposes the unsure, humbles the overconfident, and rewards only the drivers who can adapt on instinct. And with the chase rapidly approaching and desperation rising, the rest of the field knows this is their moment to strike or get left behind. Welcome to Pocono Raceway, the site of the 16th race of the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season, as MDK RaceDay gets you ready for the Great American Getaway 400 at the Tricky Triangle here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. And a big update for the race has been moved up 2 hours, green flag scheduled now for 1:21 p.m. Eastern Time on Prime Video. This is due to forecast and to help give teams a better, or make teams calm down more as they prepare for the massive West Coast swing as they head over to San Diego and Coronado. The weather here is really good, perfect weather in the low 80s, partly cloudy, gonna get a bit cloudy as we get into race time later on in the day. 6% chance of rain, 13-mile-an-hour winds south-southwest through the racetrack, with wind gusts though as high as 20 miles an hour. That can get very interesting, as like I said, Pocono Raceway, 3 different corners, either 3 or 5 different turns, however you want to call it. It demands precision to the max, so winds can play a big role. Welcome everyone to another episode of MDK RaceDay. My name is Jet. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And like I said, the countdown is on. 11 races to go until the chase for the cup begins in September. Now, last Sunday at Michigan, like I said, Denny Hamlin continuing his domination into the month of June. 2 straight weeks, 2 wins for the 11 team. And he has cut his lead, or should say his deficit, to Tyler Reddick nearly in half. It was 97 before Michigan. Now after, it is only 51 separated between Reddick and Hamlin. Blaney, Elliott, Gibbs, and Larson remain 3rd through 6th. Carson Hocevar up 2 positions in 7th. Buescher in 8th. And Daniel Suarez, once again, just having a resurgence of his career at Spire in his first year. A great top 10 run for him last Sunday at Michigan. He is right now in the 9th position. 10th is Christopher Bell, still dealing with that fracture wrist. Will be interesting to see how he deals with that here in this race here today. 11th is Bubba Wallace, a much needed 3rd place run for him, up 4 positions, now 11th in the standings. And Byron falls to 12th in the 24 car. Briscoe up 1 to 13th, SVG and Keselowski down 2 apiece, and Austin Cindric currently holds the final spot, 3 points ahead of his teammate Joey Logano. Eric Jones in 18th, a great 2nd place run for him, up 3 positions. He's now in the chase hunt. 19th is Ryan Preece following his crash. It's just getting worse and worse the hole he is in. 20th is Michael McDowell, 21st, AJ Allmendinger, Zane Smith at 22nd, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. sitting in the 23rd position. Busch, official beer of NASCAR and proud sponsor of the Busch Light Polo Award, given to the fastest driver at each NASCAR Cup Series event. Busch Light congratulates Denny Hamlin for his 51st career pole and his 737th career start. It's his 6th pole at Michigan, his 3rd pole of 2026, and he wins pole with a speed of 173.250 miles per hour. Since 2020, Busch Beer has invested more than $50 million in being a premier sponsor of the NASCAR Cup Series. So let's take a look at the starting lineup for the 2026 Great American Getaway 400. On the front row is Denny Hamlin, the 7-time Pocono winner, most of all drivers. Alongside him is Kyle Larson in the 5 car. Row 2 is Daniel Suarez, an excellent qualifying run for him. To his outside is Ty Gibbs in the 54 Toyota. Row 3 has Chase Briscoe, the defending race winner here. To his outside is Chris Buescher in the 17 Ford. Row 4, look at that. Row 4, Legacy Motor Club. What a qualifying run for both of those drivers. Eric Jones continuing his momentum from last Sunday at Michigan with his 2nd place finish. And John Nemechek, a much needed great qualifying run for him. Both highlight row 4 in 7th and 8th. With around the top 10 is William Byron, a former winner here at Pocono, and Ryan Blaney, another former winner here at Pocono, got his very first win here back in 2017 in the 12 car, rounding out the top 10. Row 6 has Joey Logano and Alex Bowman. Bowman won here back in 2021. Row 7 has Michael McDowell and Austin Hill, the best qualifying run for him since taking over for the late great Kyle Busch in that 33 car. Row 8 has Cole Custer, good run for him in that 41 ride, and an unusual starting position down mid-pack, Tyler Reddick in the 45, starting at 16th. Row 9 has Austin Cindric and alongside fellow 4 Zane Smith. Right at the top 20 is AJ Allmendinger in 16, and Josh Berry was announced earlier this week that he will not be returning to the Wood Brothers. This now starts his countdown clock to find a ride for 2027. Row 11 has Ricky Stenhouse Jr. the 47 and Christopher Bell. Like I said, his first race since he crashed at Michigan, fracturing his left wrist. Will be interesting to see how he deals with that. Row 12 has Chase Elliott, who won here back in 2022, and Ross Chastain in the 1 car. Row 13 has Riley Herbst in the 35 and Carson Hocevar in the 77 car. Was en route to possibly a top 5 starting position, but hit the wall entering a tunnel turn. As a result, he will start in 26. Row 14 has Ty Dillon in the 10 and rookie Connor Zilch in the 88. Around the top 30 is front row teammates Todd Gillen and Noah Gregson. Row 16 is Shane Van Gisbergen alongside Austin Dillon in the 3. Cody Ware and Daniel Dyer make up row 17. Ryan Preece with an abnormally slow qualifying run for him alongside Casey Mears. And round of the 38 car grid is Brad Keselowski, who had engine issues and posted the slowest lap time, while Bubba Wallace was en route to possibly a top 5 starting position, but he crashed in the tunnel turn, hit the outside wall, and then crashed into the inside wall. He will start last, but will not go out to a backup car. Now let's take a look at the odds to win here at Pocono. Denny Hamlin, no surprises, he had the best of odds at plus 165. Reddick at 500, and Larson at 500. Reddick at 700, and Elliott and Briscoe at 1100 and 1200 apiece. William Brown at the 24, as well as Ty Gibbs at 1400. Buescher at 1600. Eric Jones, great odds for him considering how far up he's starting in the 7th position at plus 1800. Christopher Bell, despite him having a fractured wrist, still sitting at plus 2,000 odds. Some big names in the back. 2,200 for Blaney, as well as Daniel Suarez. Hocevar 2,500. Bubba Wallace, who's had quite a good record here at Pocono at plus 3,000. This is obviously due to him starting at the back. Joey Logano at 4,000. Keselowski at 4,500. Chastain Nemechek at 5,500. Bowman at 9,000. And Shane Van Gisbergen sitting at 10,000. Now, you have to include that because who knows? Pocono has been known to be a place for fuel mileage race. We go back to last year, Chase Briscoe was trying to save fuel and stay out in front and was able to do that, taking home his, I believe, his first win for Joe Gibbs Racing. And then a few years back, 2021, when you had, I think it was William Byron or Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, they all ran out of fuel, allowing Kyle Busch to go ahead and take what would be his final win at Pocono. So Pocono has been known in its past very recently to be a place for fuel mileage. It's also a place to that you have to consider for maybe brake issues. We saw a few weeks ago at Nashville, a lot of drivers had brake rotor issues. That is something you have to keep in mind because you're asking a lot out of these brakes. With that 3,700 foot straightaway, extremely long straightaway, hard into the brakes entering turn 1, that could cause for some uncomfortable situations if they do not get their brakes situated. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Obviously, we look at Pocono, different corners, each completely different. So obviously you have to look at turn 3 or turn 3 and 4, however you want to call it. You have to look at that section as the most important one since that set you up for that front straightaway. So it'll be very interesting to see where the cars line up. Some will handle better on turn 1, some will handle better on the tunnel turn. Very interesting to seeing how strategy will take place since not every car is going to be great, not every driver is going to be happy. Of course, the big story is, like I said, Denny Hamlin, the best driver at Pocono, the most wins out of anybody in the history of Pocono, has the most top 5s, top 10s, best average finish, most laps led, and best driver rating out of all active drivers by a mile. So the question is, and he's running off back-to-back wins, back-to-back poles, and now a third straight pole, if you want to count Nashville, even though that was due to the metric system. Can anybody stop Denny Hamlin? It is going to be super difficult because that guy is waving on a ton of momentum. And the same thing applies here this week. I mean, yeah, he qualified on pole, but he was also pretty fast in practice. If you want to look at maybe some of the other Toyota drivers in the mix, you have to look at Chase Briscoe, the defending race winner. He has been picking up some speed. That 19 ride, they just need to start well. They can start well, they can finish well. And today is one of those days where they are starting up front since most of the season they've had to always rally from behind. Now, the Toyotas, they are the fastest, but they're not dominant. Chevrolet is stepping up. They're continuing to make more and more ground as the weeks go by, as we get closer into the chase. For example, Kyle Larson, starting in second place, was one of the fastest in practice today. Spire Motorsports, Carson Hocevar was fast. It'll be interesting to see how he comes through the back of the field, starting in the 26th position. Daniel Suarez starting in third place. This is going to be a track all about track position. So with the 7 team, as long as they do not do anything to mess up on pit road, they play a strategy right to stay ahead of the racetrack or stay ahead of the pack. They could be in great shape for another top 5 finish, because if you look at the last few races at Pocono, the winner only did around 3 to 4 stops, not much time spent on pit road. So this race is going to be all about track position, spending as little time as you can on pit road. So fuel saving, as I said earlier, will play a factor. Now the Fords, they've made some slight gains as well. Blaney is a former race winner. Chris Buescher has run well here at Pocono in the past, both starting in the top 10. Even Joe Logano starting just outside the top 10 in row 6 in position number 11. Fords, they've been making some slight gains, but I do think it will be Toyota's still be the favorite, but Chevrolet will give Toyota a run for their money. The question is who is it going to be? Because again, with strategy going to be a huge factor. We know how wild Pocono can get on restarts. They can get very, very crazy, 5, 6, 7 wide, and could lead to some potential crashes. There's no really clear favorite in this race. There may be some clear drivers, but we don't have a really clear idea on what can happen in this race, since Pocono can throw a ton of curveballs. Let's take a look now at our fantasy league lineup. So right now your leader is Richard Morris 22 with 3,327 points, but that separation between first and the rest of the field has been shortened greatly. Second, HMS Fan for Life, only 15 points behind. That is nothing. That can easily change in a stage if you really think about it. Third is Denny Delivers at 65 points behind Speed Racer, minus 81. Catskill Mountain Racing, minus 82. You have to go down to 8th place to find the first player outside of 100 points. So our fantasy league lineup is getting really, really tight as we get closer and closer into the chase and closer until the end of the season. Now, my fantasy league lineup, it's kind of obvious. So I do have Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin. I got the front row in my lineup. I got Chase Briscoe as well, but I also have Daniel Suarez. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Suarez. The last few weeks at 7 car has just been very, very consistent. They're starting well. They just need to finish well. And I think with Pocono being not that exciting of a racetrack in terms of action, they just need to play their strategy right. I like what I see out of a 7 ride, so I got him in my starting lineup. Then I got Ryan Blaney. I just feel like of all the Fords, Blaney always is there, and Pocono has been a good track for him. So I got the 12 car, and I also got Chase Elliott in my garage. He was really fast in practice. His history at Pocono is very, very good, but him starting mid-pack does concern me a little bit, so that's why I have him in my garage. But the driver that I have winning this race, I mean, come on. You cannot go wrong. I'm going with him again. 3 in a row. Denny Hamlin's going to get his 8th win at Pocono. The only way he loses this race is either they beat themselves, either they mess up on pit road, mechanical or engine issue, or they get taken out in a crash. Obviously, I think I just explained anything that can happen in a NASCAR race, but it's just because this 11 team is just so good, and Denny is at the top of his game. I just don't know or see anybody that can touch him in terms of confidence. I mean, the way they're entering Pocono, it's just clicking off of all cylinders. Not too shabby. 7th, 8th, around that area in the 5 and 10 lap averages. They didn't even do 15 lap averages, what I think speaks a lot, because I think that tells me Denny is comfortable with his race car. And Denny Hamlin, he doesn't need to be fast. He just needs to be comfortable, and he will make it work. And so his second fastest lap time, qualifying on the pole. I'm just seeing the writings on the wall. I think Denny Hamlin is going to go 3 in a row at Pocono. But what are your thoughts on this race? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, my name is Jeff from MDK. Thank you so much for watching. See y'all next time.